Okay, everyone, thank you for watching. I'm going to get right into this video. I do appreciate all the new subscribers and everyone watching from everywhere. I really appreciate all of you. I appreciate the comments and everything. So, I had an opportunity the other day to do a work project. And this particular project, I was breaking down the sets from one of the movie premieres. So this is in Los Angeles, and I contract with a couple of studios and companies where they build the sets and also break the sets down after the movie commercial premieres or whatever the thing is. So at this particular project, another person and I were tasked with breaking down all the wood so that the other guys could insert it into this very large dumpster. And so that was the first time I had a chance to really extensively use this hacksaw. Before that, I had only utilized it once or twice for small cuts here and there. This was used at minimum 9 straight hours, probably 9 to 10 hours. I did take a break, and that's the only time it was not running, is when I was on a couple of the breaks. But it allowed me to really become familiar with the tool and see what it can do. It never ran hot. It never hesitated. It did a great job the entire time. The other guys that was on that particular site was very amazed at how it was just cutting through the wood literally like a hot knife in butter. Most of the wood was very thin, 1x2, 2x2. Every now and then I ran into maybe the thicker plywood. That was sometimes, and of course it would slow down a little bit for that, but it still did really good. The other guy that was on that location, tasked to cut everything down, he had one of the really large Milwaukee corded saws where you had to hold it like this, and seems like it was probably 4 or 5 times the weight of this, or I mean, at least maybe 4 times, and it was at least 3.5 times the size. And he was also making comments like, wow, you are really doing a lot of damage with that handheld hacksaw, which it was just cutting through, and I could hold the board or the wood and then cut with the other hand. And I was alternating also because I like to practice utilizing both hands, but it really allowed me to not incur so much fatigue compared to the other guy that was like sweating through his shirts because he had to hold the saw, and it made it more challenging for him to hold the wood steady because he had to use 2 hands to hold the saw. And then if he did use one hand, it was so much weight in that one hand. So this saw was great. I purchased this last year, maybe the holiday season, when they were trying to get rid of a lot of their brushed stuff. So this is brushed, but it worked great. It did not get warm. It did not hesitate, stutter. It didn't do anything. It did everything it was supposed to do. Great tool. It worked phenomenal, and I was not so fatigued with using this for 9, 10 straight hours. Once again, the only time I was not using this was on a break, and besides that, it was just going. Now, one of the things I did learn about charging the batteries, I was charging these on the supercharger, which I've shown in some other videos. This thing is phenomenal. It charges up the batteries in minutes. This thing, it charges up in less than 10 minutes, full charge. This one, I'm not sure, but it's probably, I don't know, 15. Maybe, I'm just guessing. And the only reason I'm guessing that because when I use this battery, which really sucks for this, I would use this when this battery will go down, and this would last until this battery was completely full. By the time this one would die out, this battery was completely full. So maybe 15 to 20 minutes. I really wasn't keeping track of the time, but the time frame was very short that this battery would last. So I tried to share on another video. If this comes with the tool free, then okay. But if this size battery is what you are considering when you do your tool purchase, it's not worth it for anything that spins or shakes or anything that needs power or horsepower. Don't go with the 1.5. Do not ever purchase these by themselves to use with your tools. They're okay for in between, but they really suck. So it would just last minutes, and I will have to go back to the charging station to pick this up. This works great. This works for a very long time. I tried to share in previous videos. No, I did share. All your tools should be at least 4.0 or higher. This is actually 3.0, but it's XC, the extra capacity, so it's worth it. It does do a good job with the power and the longevity. This is great. Within the 10 hours, I don't remember exactly, but I would guess about maybe 5 to 6 times that I had to charge this battery, somewhere around there. But it worked great. So I did have the option to use this. It was fully charged, but I wanted to see how far I can go with bouncing between these batteries. So when this was die out, I would throw this on the tool and continue use. When this die out, then I would go back to this. And it worked great. So if you run into a brush deal, because most of these tools should be much cheaper now because they're brushed and they're trying to push all the newer generations of brushless. Once again, I had zero. I did not have a hacksaw at all. I did not have the circular saw at all. So for me, I was going from no tool to a inexpensive brush tool. It has been worth it. This saw by itself has assisted me with making 5 times the amount of money that I paid for the entire kit. So I really appreciate that being the case. So the point is, this is worth it. If you have no tool, it's okay to go with the brush tool until you make additional money to purchase the brushless. I had a guy one time make a comment. I don't know. I think he might have been from Taiwan or Japan or one of the countries like that. And he made a comment like, only go brushless. And yeah, I can agree with that to a certain point. But for me and for other people's situations, brushed was advantageous for me. It allowed me to save on money and allowed me to get started. And sometimes I think people forget that you have people out here that needs to get started. So yes, all the fancy new super duper Bluetooth tools are cool, but just get started, people. Don't get caught up into the hype. Please just, if you can find an inexpensive tool, get started. And it's okay to go within your budget. Later, yes, the type of tools and the grade of tool can make a difference. If you're doing a certain type of trade or something like that where you're using these tools all day, every day, then you want to increase the quality of the tool so you can have more longevity, of course. But when you're starting, get something to start with. I got this to start with, and a year later, it benefited me greatly. That's about all I have for this. So this battery works great. If you're using something like this or higher, and this is going to be fantastic. Oh, now on the blades, because of course blades make a difference. Now I have a brand new Milwaukee set of blades that I could not find because I have not organized all the tools yet. It's been so many tools and boxes that I do some of the unboxing and then I have to just store the stuff in the box. So some of the stuff is in the box, some of the stuff is not in the box, and I have not had a chance to outfit the the toolboxes, the pack out boxes and things of that nature. So anyway, the point is I got ready to use this and could not find my Milwaukee saws. So luckily I had these old Craftsman saws, and I don't know why they paint these saws, why they just don't put some kind of coating on there and just leave the metal, because all the paint is going to rub off. This was a white blade like the Milwaukee white, and they just rub right off. I just purchased some Diablo blades for next time, just because I cannot find, well, I haven't looked that much, but I need to find my Milwaukee blades. So the Milwaukee blades was something like this, and I just purchased this yesterday. I'm quite sure these are going to be great. Diablo really does a good job with their blades. So the point was I used some 5 to 6 year old Craftsman blades. I purchased these from Sears in Los Angeles, and they work great. Yeah, so this did a good job. It was cutting through everything with no problem all day on the same blade. I tried to switch the blade later. It really didn't make that much of a difference, and plus I only had like maybe another hour to go to complete the work time. So this thing is great. It works great. It's worth the money of what I paid for it. And if you have no tool, this is absolutely better than you having no tool. You don't necessarily have to wait until you can go brushless. Brush gets it done for sure. Yes, a lot of the other tools I have are brushless because I found a really good deal, and I knew where to shop and how to shop for the tools. So I don't have that many tools that are brushed, but this is one of my first Milwaukee purchases, and it did a fantastic job. So once again, remember, at least 4.0 or XC and above will benefit you in anything that's drilling, spinning, or cutting. This battery here is bullcrap. So if you guys have any comments, questions, or anything, everybody know what to do. I don't have to share that. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Thank you.